everyone, this is Gogan with Baka Bros Studios, coming at you live. Today, we're going to be streaming a celebration animation, blocking out and maybe some spline celebration animation when selected, right? And so what that means is in the character select screen, all the players will kind of be doing their own idling, right? They'll be just sitting there idling, right? And then every so often they'll do an idle break where they show off their moves, or they pump their fist or something like that to get you to select them, right? We've already animated a hover swing with Mallet Boy. I'll show you that real quick. It's on the YouTube. I think it's on the YouTube channel. But let's go ahead and check it out real quick. Turn off the cart and then go to hover swing. All right. And this was this cool bad boy here. There's some tweaking that still needs to happen here, but the bulk of the animation is done. The main idea of the animation is done. Let's go turn those nerve curves off. So when this animation plays through, what will happen is I don't know how the character screen will be set up. I imagine it as like a turntable kind of thing, where you'll see all the players, and then when you click over or push the analog stick or what over, it'll turn the table, right? And then you'll be able to see that character. You'll be able to see his stats or whatever. And when they hover over the character, that's when they'll play a special animation. And since Mallet Boy's big, his main trait is mallet, right? Mallet Boy. He will swing his mallet, right? And that's his main attack move, and that's what he will look really awesome doing. And so when you hover over him, he'll play this animation saying, "Hey, pick me," right? Well, after you see that, you decide, hey, his animation's pretty cool, his weapon looks pretty awesome, I want to choose him. When you select him, he's going to do the characters are going to do some kind of celebrate, right? Where they're like, yes, they picked me, and then do whatever. So the plan right now for me is, I don't know exactly what we'll be doing, but the plan is to, I'm thinking, he's going to have his mallet over his shoulder, right? And he's going to take his left hand and he's going to do a fist pump, right? He's going to go, yes. Let's see, yes. And after he does the fist pump, he's going to hop, yes. And then grab the car and then hop over into it, right? He's going to fist pump and then hop over into the car with one hand or something like that. I don't know exactly. We're going to start blocking it out and see how we're feeling about it. And we might not get all the way done with blocking today, but I most definitely will finish the blocking, and then I kind of want to take you guys through the whole process. We've got about an hour, a little over an hour tonight. It's usually what my videos run, and so what we'll do is if we just get through the blocking, then that's a good stop part to stop at, and then on our next video we'll go on to polish and we'll finish out the animation. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. This is super exciting stuff. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is reference back in the cart, right? Reference editor, this bad boy here, cart. Okay, like I've stated in my previous, look at those eyes, those are crazy. He's just blinking. Anyways, like I've stated in my previous tutorials, you always want to reference in your file, right? You don't want to work straight from the rig. That's bad news. So this is our reference editor, and go ahead and access that in file, reference editor, or you can create reference, Anyway, so let's go ahead and turn on these NURBS controls, right? And let's turn this off here. And we're going to go ahead and select all the controls. Turn off geometry select. And we're going to select all the controls, right? And then we're going to create a new layer, okay, with everything on it. We're going to create a new layer with everything on it. We're going to call this celebrate. Celebrate. Let's call it selection celebrate, because in game they'll be able to call the animation with a word before it. It's going to say selection at celebrate or something like that, right? Selection celebrate. Okay, and since looks like Maya froze up here on us. Hopefully this doesn't persist. If it does, find a solution for it. Give it a minute here. Okay. Scary. It's always scary when Maya decides to crash. Ooh, that's scary. Okay. So, since we're going to be working from Mallet Boy's idle animation, right? We're not going to be working from a vehicle idle. We're going to be working from an idle that is already like of him not in the car, right? Since it's the character select, we're going to be working from an idle that is not of him already in the car. Okay, and so we're going to go to the idle here position here. Let's start with actually a clean idle, a clean idle. And when I mean clean idle, I just not necessarily the idle that I was just at is bad, but this is the very first idle that I created, and I want to base all of my starting poses off of my very first idle, right? So go ahead and go to copy this over here to this. Right now, because we don't have anything working in game, I don't know. Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, let's go like this. Let's make sure a key is set on all these, and then let's go ahead and copy, and then let's go ahead and paste. Boy, that is not good. Okay, let's go like this. I don't know why that's happening. This is actually there were some bugs with an old Mallet Boy rig, and this is actually the older rig that I'm working with, and so there might be a little bit of buggy. But what we can do is we can go ahead and duplicate this. Duplicate layer. Put that up here, and then notice that we have our idle position now, right? I don't exactly know why that happened, but bear with me. As you guys can see, maybe you can't fully, but I got my Christmas ornaments up, right? My wife and children blackmailed me into getting them up. What a day. Anyway, okay, so on this first position, I'm going to go ahead and pull this over, right? Because this isn't the cart position. The cart, we're going to put this cart in a different position. Now, you might be wondering, why am I not just grabbing the global control, right? Why am I not just grabbing the global, which is right here on the cart, right? Let's see, root control for that, and then there's this root joint control. We actually might be able to grab that root joint control right here, because I think this is the global control. And what the global control is there's a joint when the rig is created. There's a joint that is at 0, 0, 0, right? It's a 0 space, and when that does is when you put it in game, it makes it so there's for code to look at, the programmer can say, okay, what joint is at 0, 0, 0 position, right? And that joint is going to be the game node joint. And so the programmers are able to say, okay, put this character from 000 at 00 in world space in our game. Okay, and when they do that, it's then going to you're going to animate all of your characters' movements off of that 000. So you're not actually moving 000. You're not moving that game node joint, because the programmers, say you had like a jump or a hop or a leap in the air, right? The character's running, you're running in a third-person shooter or something, and then you jump up in the air, right? The programmer is going to control that up and down, right? You're not going to control that. When an animator animates a jump cycle, all they're animating is the character leaping, just jumping up in place. They're not animators aren't animating the jump actually happening up in the air, right? They're just animating the jump in place, and the programmers are going to say, when the player hits the A button, or whatever the button is, the jump button, go up this much at this velocity. And then the animators and the programmers work together to get that to look smooth and right? So you never want to use this game node joint and move that around, because that can actually cause some issues. This here, oh, looks like that's the same thing as that. Selecting this control here. So we'll just go ahead and select this control. And so I'm going to move this over, right? Oops. I'm going to move this over to here. Okay, and why I'm doing this is because Mallet Boy is going to pump his fist, reach over. He's going to pump his fist, then reach over to the, let's go to frame 2 here. Change that to 1, so it's FK now, IK. He's going to reach over, grab the side there, and then he's going to hop in, right? And it looks like Maya's going to start being stinker to us. Let's go ahead, and since we have that and that, we're going to go ahead and delete all these, because there's no reason to have them. And during this video, I apologize everybody for any latency issues or anything with Maya freezing up. Sometimes this happens. This hasn't happened with the new files that I've uploaded, but I created these idles in an older file, and so I'm gonna have to go through and clean these up a little bit more. I just want to say, while I'm just sitting here, like I've said in all my other videos, if anybody wants to message Baka Bro Studios and ask any animation questions or send in their demo reel, I would be more than happy to check it out and critique it and give it a look, so that we can help you get your first job in the industry, or give a critique so that you know what the direction you want to go and where you're going and progressing yourself as an animator. And I'm sure Daniel, head of Baka Bro Studios, will be more than happy to check out any modeling work that you've got to give your stuff a critique. I can't speak for him, but I would say he's probably up for doing that kind of thing. Okay. Alright, so we've got the card over here onto the side, right? And he's going to eventually in this animation he's going to hop on over, right? But right now what we're going to do is we are going to block in the and you know what, since we're not doing anything with this cart right now, let's go ahead and just pull that over. Oops. Just go ahead and pull that over. My goodness. Something is amiss here. button is. Okay, so it is. Okay, we're good. Okay. Alright, so let's pull that over so we can get a good silhouette, right? We want to see a good silhouette happening with our mallet boy. So that switch that happened, and of course Maya decides to freeze up again. It looks like it frees up whenever I select all the controls. I apologize, everybody, again. I thought about it when I selected all the controls, and now it's thinking about it when I deselected all the controls. Okay, just steer clear of selecting all the controls, right? Or any controls for that matter. So our first pose here. Okay. Alright, everyone. Let's go ahead and just get a clean file and work in a new pose. Alright, well, I guess in this video you're going to learn lots of parenting stuff and parent constraints and getting things to work. And you want lots of objects parented to each other, so let's get started. Great reference. Okay, mallet boy. First we're going to reference in mallet boy. Okay. Doesn't look like he has his textures yet. Create reference. We're going to create the... you know what? Actually, we already have all this done in here. Let's just build our poses in here. This is actually probably a really good idea. Okay. Since we already have this in here, we have mallet boy in here. All of our awesome animations are already loaded in here, and so everything's good. Just want to scrub through this a couple times, play it so I know it's playing good. Okay, look at that sweet idle, card idle. Okay. We're going to have to build that first pose again, right? And since we have this file already opened up, I mean, we could honestly just look at this pose here. We can look at this pose, right? And we can just kind of do the same thing. So let's turn this off, and we are going to create a new layer, and we are going to start from fresh scratch here. Mallet Boy Idle. Right, so this is going to be called Mallet Boy Idle, since maybe we should name these Mallet Boy Selection Celebrate, right? But in this first pose, we just need to build out our base idle pose. One thing that we do got to make sure that we go in and we turn off right now is in this file I actually have Mallet Boy parent constrained to the cart body, right? And we can go ahead and turn that off super easily by just going to this here, right? Oh, you can't see my hypergraph. So in here I just created a simple parent constraint from Mallet Boy to the cart, right? Just need to go down here, all the way to the bottom of Mallet Boy. Oh, we were almost there. And just turn this off, right? We selected it, just turn that off now. Put that at 0. Now Mallet Boy will no longer follow the cart here, which is what we want, right? But did the same thing with his mallet. His mallet will still follow Mallet Boy's arm. And I just took the mallet control, which was, let's see, where is that mallet control? I forget. Anyways, I just took the parent mallet control and I put a group over it, and then I did a parent constraint from Mallet Boy's hand to the handle of the mallet, and it follows his hand, and it's great. Okay, so on this first animation, we are going to move this cart over like we had it before, right? Like this. And by the way, if we turned on that parent constraint, he would snap to the cart at that point, I think. Okay. And 0 out his feet. And again, we're just creating a quick pose here, right? Building a quick pose. I guess this video will be more so focused on building out a Mallet Boy idle pose. Because Maya decided to be a jerk. Like it so often does. Okay. Pull this over here. And I don't exactly know where that hand position was. So let's go over to our other file. Looks like this mallet was in more of a down position. One positive thing about having to recreate stuff the second time, I mean, there's multiple times where I've lost hours of work because I didn't save, or Maya decided to crash and for some odd reason corrupt the whole file, right? And that's just no fun, and that happens in studios and happens just sometimes. That kind of stuff happens. But I mean, it's kind of hard to see a pro, like a pros and cons kind of thing. It's hard to see a pro in that situation. But one of the pros about that happening, silver lining is you've already done it, right? And you know exactly what you want to do. Sometimes we take hours, experimenting and trying to make decisions on what we're gonna do for an animation or a modeling choice or whatever. The nice thing is once you've done something once, you know exactly how you're going to do it again. And something that took me like 2 hours to animate or something, I can do it in an hour or in like 30 minutes because I know exactly the direction I want to go. I don't have to sit and experiment and test with a bunch of poses or a bunch of animation changes. And so that's kind of the way I try to look at it. If something stupid happens or if Maya decides to be a jerk, I try to look at the positive, and it kind of makes this process go a little smoother for me. But again, it's never fun. Okay. Looks like that elbow, the shoulder's up. Let's pose out this hand. Looks like that hand is a little more relaxed, not so angry, right? One of the most important things is I've got to shift his weight over. Most important part about animation is the weight. You have proper weight distribution. You could have a cruddy animation and have nice weight distribution within your animation, and it will look fantastic. I'm going to switch this over to following the shoulder space instead of following the root space. It's going to change this a little bit. Just got to kick that back over. What it's going to do is it's going to follow my shoulder now, right? I'm just kidding. I don't exactly know what. There. Okay, it's going to look like it's going to follow the chest there, which is what we want. Before it was following the root joint here, right? And we don't want that. We want it to follow. We want it to be able to follow along with the shoulder and the chest and everything. looking at this pose and rebuilding this pose, and I'm like, dang, you know, he's in a really fun, good pose there. I don't know if I can recreate that good of a pose. We'll get close though. Another important thing that I see a lot on demo reels and just in general is pointing your knees, right? Your knees point in the same direction as your toes, always, right? You can kind of swivel your feet and kind of point your toe. If you plant your heel and then rotate I'm doing it right now. If you rotate from your heel, you can kind of get your toes in a different direction, but if you try and rotate your toes without your heel planted, it's almost impossible not to move your knee. So your knees are always going to point the same direction as your toes, right? So it's important, even the slightest difference, right? You can see if I go straight on from the foot here, the knee isn't pointing the same direction the foot, it's slightly off kilter, and you can tell. It's tiny, but you can tell. So we want to make sure the knee is pointing the same direction as the toes. Man. Just look, the pose just looks so natural, right? Just super natural. Puff out chest maybe. Maybe that'll give us a lot. I guess that face is also pretty cocky. Just gotta. Yeah. Nope. Nice thing is this file is open, so I can just go in here and rotate around to get that same pose. Looks like he's really puffing out that chest, getting some of that in the hips. Looking for that jaw control, close his mouth, I don't think. Oh, here we go. There it is. Looks like our mallet is pointing a little far down. I want to match this pose pretty closely just because this pose is looking really nice over in here, over in this other one, right? This pose is looking really super relaxed, super tough. I really liked what I was able to get there, so I'm trying to match this pose pretty darn closely. There we go. Relax this shoulder a little bit. pull this down here. There we go. Now he's looking confident. Whew. I was getting worried. Maybe a little too confident. Let's give him some pride. Let's make him a little more humble. Humility, right? Okay. I think this is good. I think this is what I'm going to draw from here on out with the idle. Okay, so let's finally get into blocking, right? Let's get into blocking this just giving it one more quick once over. I'm actually getting confused now. This is the old one. This is the new one. Okay, I actually like the new one better now. Ooh, it's good I didn't scrub the timeline because it looks like I don't have any keys set on some of these things. Okay. All right. So let's get into blocking this out. And again, I apologize, guys. I'm gonna go a little. I'll probably go to an hour and 10 minutes today. Thursday's stream, maybe Wednesday's stream, will be a lot better than this. We ran into some technical difficulties tonight, but we'll get through them, and I apologize for that. But we'll start blocking, okay? So, again, this animation, I want to do a pump fist, and then he grabs the cart, and then goes to jump in, right? And so what we can do is we can start with that fist pump. I want to go ahead, and I want to change that to IK. And you'll wonder why in this frame I'm in FK, right? It's because this frame with this idle animation, since he's not holding anything, it'll be easier to use FK to animating with the body, right? Doing some nice overlap and everything like this. But now in this animation I have to switch to FK on the fly, right? And there's an easy way to hide FK, IK switching if you just hide it in the action, cut on action, right? I've said this in a couple of my other videos. If you switch from IK to FK and you hide it within the action, you won't notice. And since we're blocking right now, we're not really going to see that right now. In later streams we will. But right now, since it's blocking, we won't. We're just going to block it in and get the hard IK switch for right now, right? So what our blocking is he starts from idle position with this left hand. Once he gets chosen, he's going to go yes, right? Up and then down, yes. One pose, here's another pose, yes, right? He's going to go up, get excited, get up on maybe his tiptoes. We'll get him up on his tiptoes. And I want to make this really, really fun and really, really like yes, like where he really goes up and he gets some hang time. Yes, right? And then he jumps in the cart, right? But it can't be too long, right? It's got to be maybe 5 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, because players are going to get bored of watching that over and over again. Luckily, they're only going to watch it once, and so if we have it play within a 3 to 5 second time frame, players will be fine with that. They will be accepting of it, because it just adds to the aesthetics of the game, right? And the more aesthetics we can have, the better. And let's go ahead and make sure we are in, select everything, make sure we are in stepped and clamped mode, as always. Again, at least my way of animating, I always animate from stepped clamp mode. And so we just need to open up our graph editor. And Maya taking a while right now. This always happens. Maya has to read all the curves that you created, and we've got a whole list of animations here, and so Maya has to put in form all of the animation curves into 2D form, and so it takes just a minute always, no matter what, to read that. Animation, clamped, and stepped mode. Save. So I've clamped and stepped my graph editor, my keys, and now I've clamped and stepped my just the curves and the polygons. For some odd reason, my mallet controls have disappeared, but we'll figure that out at a later date. So let's press 6 to get our stuff back. Okay, so he's gonna go up, right? And when he goes up, he's gonna throw his head back. He's probably going to pull his eyebrows up. He's probably going to look in the air, right? He's going to go, yes, and then he's going to close his eyes on that down yes. Right, yes. Super excited. Oops, let's move the eye control. Probably at a later date, we'll probably get some more facial controls here for this mouth and maybe the cheeks and stuff. But for right now, we just have open and closed mouth. So we're going to open that mouth. He's got up on his tippy toes. Let's raise that fist really high in the air. And when you do this, so this won't be in the block, but I just kind of want to, go over this. When he goes up in the air, he's going to open his hand like this, right, to add a little bit more, make it a little more awesome. He's going to open his hand like this. He's going to go, yes, and he's going to close it. Open, yes, and he's going to close it, right? So let's just open that hand a little bit. One common mistake I always have myself, even though I've been working in the animation industry a long time. I always forget to pull at the shoulders. I always go, man, he's looking kind of weird. And it's usually because the shoulders, you're not manipulating the shoulders like you should, right? Maybe he will, maybe he's going to lean over just a little bit more on this. And then this foot is actually going to roll a little bit more. Since he's leaning on this foot, this one's going to come up a little bit more. Whoops. Looks like we need to put all of our animation back on frame 2. This one's going to roll a little bit more than the other one, right? Go up. notice, I think upper or lower arm twisting, right? This is really nice to have this in a rig so that you can fix these anomalies that happen, like this forearm looks a little janky, right? But we can go ahead and twist it like that. It's really nice when that kind of stuff is in a rig. There's actually also bend bows, right? Rigs will have these, and they can either be really good or really bad. These ones are alright. But again, this is just a simple rig for Mallet Boy right now. Just in the beginning phases of creating this awesome game. And to be completely honest, in game animation, I do not use bend bows really at all, ever. At least for the level of game creation that I'm doing, my company's doing. We don't do like AAA titles or anything like that, right? And so we're not going to be doing the insane, super high quality animations, right? I mean, we want good quality animations, but ours are not on the like high res, realistic side, right? And we already have this closed fist type of fist here, so we can just copy that and reuse it. He's looking terrifying right now. Ooh. Evo Mallet Boy. So Mallet Boy, this version of Mallet Boy actually doesn't have eyelids right now, and so what we can do is we can fake the eyelid thing, right? We can just, I don't want to move that eye control, and so what we can do is we can just take these eyes and go like this. Sometimes rigs don't have certain things, and you kind of just got to work with what you got, right? This is a super early version of Mallet Boy, and since this is a certain early version of Mallet Boy, there's certain limitations, and that's fine. We'll get later versions of Mallet Boy, but for right now, we can work with what we got, and we're lucky that we even have the ability to rotate the eyes. But we just want to get this passed off in the studio, right? Say we just want to get this idea through, and really just making it so it's readable is really the most important thing, right? Let's got one more thing. Yes. Mallet Boy is kid-like, right? He's kind of a shorter. I don't know how old Mallet Boy is. I imagine he's probably like a teen or something, right? He's a rebellious teen. That's kind of the way I see him. So this kid-like, yes, right? That we want to play to a character's strengths and what the design of the character. And Mallet Boy looks like he's a kid, right? And kids will do the yes fist pump, right? They'll do yes, because we have another character that's coming down the line that's more like a witch character. It's a fun, cute witch character. She's not gonna, and she's more timid, right? And so she's not gonna do like a yes type thing. She's gonna do like a oh thank you, you know, oh thank you, and then she's gonna do some cool move, and she's gonna hop onto her broomstick, right? She's not gonna be this kid-like or excited kid where it does this big fist pump, this big move. She's more timid character, so she's going to be reserved. She can go, oh, you know. And so you want to play to the character's character design, right? Or it just won't match. sometimes you can break the character design, but it's got to be very intentional. There's got to be something about that character that is it's there's a reason that you're choosing out clearly the opposite thing, like a big brooding elephant type character. You want to make it so it's scared and timid of this little tiny mouse, or it's like the elephant off of Tarzan. I can't think of his name. But he's a scared elephant, right? But he's a big character. He can clobber anybody, but he's scared, and so it's contrasting, right? You can't have this mid-sized character be super terrified of things because it just doesn't make sense because it's not a contrasting character, right? But this big fat character, or this big muscly character, you're going from one extreme to the other and contrasting, and that's what makes that character super interesting and super dynamic, is because you're having that contrast in there, right? Having this tiny scared character would also work for a scared timid animation as well, because they're tiny, and it goes with that this smaller character, like this little kid is being scared of this mouse. But another cool thing you can choose with a kid character is like kids love mice, right? And so if it was a kid, kids like to chase little critters, and so you got to pick and choose your battles, kind of thing. Okay, yes. Now this is where, in the part of the blocking that we want to get our cart pulled back over, right? And we want to go to the first frame of animation here, and we want to pull our cart over here. Okay. For right now, I'm not going to worry about the mallet going inside the cart. We're going to have to play a little bit with that in programming or something. For right now, we're just going to do this. We're just going to deal with it for the purposes of this video and purposes of this animation. We might be able to scale the hammer down on character selection or something. Not make it tiny, just a little smaller so that it doesn't clip as much with the cart. Closing out the cart here, right? Maybe when we get into the animation, maybe the cart will be a little bit smaller, so we can emphasize Mallet Boy's mallet size. And you know what? Maybe we won't have him in the end. Maybe we won't have him jump in the cart at all. He's just got his mallet, and then maybe his cart will be like somewhere behind him, like this, and it just shows it like that. And then you select Mallet Boy. He does his Mallet Boy hammer swing. And that's it. And then it goes to the next screen, and he's in his cart, right? Okay. Yes. Now, another reason why it's important that we switched over to IK, switched over to IK in here, is because his hand needs to be placed on this cart, right? You need his hand to stick right here. He's going to look over. This. Let's get those eyes back to 0. Yes. walks over to the cart, grabs the cart. This is where you got to get a little interesting, right? This is where you got to get a little. You might not decide to completely block this in right now, right? Or like completely choose the poses here. You might just start to choose like a few muddy poses, so you can get the blocking done here, and then you can go in and get some more fine-tuning blocking. Let's see. Actually, he leans over, grabs that, and then on this pose, he's gonna bend down. Maybe he's gonna lean this way just a little bit. Bend down. Pop that leg up. Oop. Roll. Remove all these. Broken knee. And again, I'm not taking the time. Like here, I blocked out the full pose, right? It was easy to block all these poses out. This is not as easy. You're trying to get an idea here, and so I'm not gonna sit here and take the time, because like these, I have a very solid idea, right? I clearly know what I want him to do. I want him to go up, fist pump, yes, and then go into the car, right? But what I don't know exactly, what I don't have a clear, strong path is what I want to do for that, jumping into that car, right? I don't exactly know what I want to do for that. And so I'm just going to try and get as much of the blocking in right here as I can, so that I can see that idea working, right? Because I don't know exactly if it's going to work. We might block this in and might decide, you know what, this just is not working. Let's scrap this idea and let's just go with the fist pump, right? Or let's just, on his hover swing, what we looked at in the beginning of the video, where you hovered over him and he swung the Lord Asmore said he could do a backflip into the seat, perhaps. I've stated in my past videos I'm open to ideas. Possibly that one's a later idea. Not for this video. Not for this video. Let's stick to this idea for now, Lord Asmore. Oh, that's funny. I'll most certainly try the idea out, though. But yeah, maybe we decide not to go with this idea. Maybe we decide to just go with the Mallet Boy swing. When he gets selected, he just goes, or he can pump his fist and then swing a hammer, right? And instead of when you hover over him, instead of him doing something, you have to select him, and then he'll do that cool power move. Okay, we're going to go for about 5 more minutes here. Let's get him into this cart. Actually, sometimes that I'll be animating and I'll just be like, okay, I'm sick of this idea here. I'm sick of just taking all this time to get the pose down, and so I'll just get lazy and I'll just be like, okay, I'm just gonna put them in the cart now, and then I can kind of see my blocked in idea. It's not super neat looking, but even if it's not super neat looking, we can still get we can still understand if we want to go with this idea, which I think this is a good idea. I mean, I think, you know, I don't want to give up on an idea too quickly, because there's definitely times in animation or in art where you kind of working and you can't just, you gotta polish the turd before you call it, right? You gotta, well, like, this is a piece of crap. Well, you didn't polish the poop yet, so you gotta polish the poop, and once you've polished the poop, it might turn out to look pretty stellar, right? There's plenty of drawings and other animations even that I've done where I just, I'm my producers or the supervisors like the idea. I hate the idea, but then I give it my, Gauguin flair, and I kind of do my thing with it, and it ends up looking pretty cool. But doesn't mean I like watching the poopy part of it. It's no fun. But I think this animation will end up looking cool. I don't think we'll need to scrap this. I think we can really make this look pretty awesome. The only thing that I can foresee going wrong with this is the beginning part of the mallet completely clipping through this cart here. But that's something that we're going to have to maybe look at fixing or find a solution for it. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I can see the main idea, and I've taken a couple minutes here. It's not looking super cool. We would have been gotten to more blocking if we would have not run into those technical issues at the beginning of the video. But I assure you, next on Thursday when we stream again for animation, we won't be running into these technical difficulties, and I'll start directly from right here. But as you can see, we have very simple blocking. We can see him hopping into the cart, and I think this will look cool once we get it in and look at it. I mean, once we get it in, more blocked in, more fleshed out, I think this will look cool. But I think that's it for the night. We've gone a bit over an hour now, and I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm so sorry again for the technical difficulties that we ran into as in the first part of our hour. That we were animating and everything. So I apologize really bad for that. And but I thank you guys for jumping on and sticking with me. Those of you that are jumping on late, whatever, if you want to check out the beginning of the video, that'd be awesome too. Again, thanks for coming to the channel for the Baka Bros Studios. Hope we see you next time. You guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe during this crazy time.